Maker Shop Tour. I'm Carl Wayne. This week we're visiting Jimmy Ray's Key West Woodworks. Let's get started. Good morning. My name's Jimmy Ray and I'm the owner of Key West Woodworks. We're located on Stock Island, just north of Key West, Florida. We've been here for about 35 years now. We salvage logs that would ultimately go to the dump, and we have a portable bandsaw mill, so we're able to mill those logs into usable lumber. And we've got a few examples around the shop of things that we've made. Behind me is a tabletop I'm working on out of Cuban Mahogany. We've just sanded it down and we're about to apply finish. And then over here is the base for the same table. And all of this is made out of our local mahogany, Swetenia mahoganosi. Another thing we do in the shop is we take old architectural elements and we build frames for beveled mirrors and furniture out of these parts. And most of these components came from old houses in Key West. Some of our tools date back to 1954. The planer to your left there, that's our oldest floor tool. All of them came off the Navy base when the Navy stopped doing their own work and started contracting it out. Then over to your right there is an old 1962 DeWalt radial arm saw, also from the Navy. And then behind me is a giant Northfield bandsaw from the early 60s, also off the Navy base. Wow. Over on the far wall are samples of some of the local woods that we have. Woods that most people wouldn't have heard of because there's not enough of them to constitute selling them commercially. But on the top there to the left is Jamaica Dogwood, and to the right is sea hibiscus, and then down to the lower left there is tropical almond. Here's another good example of tropical almond with the finish on it. And that's ultimately what this desk countertop is going to be. This is tropical almond, and it'll sit on two cabinets. Now, over on that side of the shop, that pedestal, very hard, heavy wood known as tamarind, and it's the same tree that the spice comes from. That's part of our collection, and we sell those in galleries to be used as sculpture pedestals. The table right in front of you is something I swear to never do, and I did it anyway, and that's refinishing that tabletop. That plank came down in Hurricane Irma, and we're sign makers, so that's a V-groove carved sign.
Is that just hand tools, Jimmy, that you're using to carve?
Mostly. We go and take out some of the bulk, the straight lines with a router, but then all the details, all the ends and the curves have to be hand carved. It's my wife, Karen. I'll do the talking for both of us, since she doesn't have a microphone. Karen's a sculptor, and so she takes the smaller pieces, the scraps from the milling process, and she builds sculpture with them. She also owns a gallery here at the marina known as Collections that you can find online if you want to check it out.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's another one of her carved signs up there. See the Island Outfitter? And that's mostly hand carved with 23 karat gold leaf.
And you said you use mostly mahogany for those?
We do. Down here, almost all of our work is done on mahogany. Okay. It really handles the elements a lot better.
Okay.
Now you're looking at Karen's area with all of her sculpture doodads.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Jazzy. Come here. You want to be on film? Come here. This is our shop dog, Jazzy. Jazzy is an iguana hunter, and that's why we're able to grow greens here, because the iguanas would destroy our garden. They're a very invasive giant lizard. She likes them a lot. I'm surprised she let you film her, though. She didn't like having her picture taken. So, do you want to take a look at the lumberyard?
I would love to.
All right.
Get to see Jazzy in action.
Jazzy, you're going to be a star. Yeah, that's right. You ready? Let's go. Bye, Karen.
What were these buildings originally used for? Just for trade like this?
Shrimp packing plant.
Shrimp packing, okay.
Yeah, this whole harbor was about shrimp when we first got here. But the shrimp industry was unfortunately heavily impacted by the drug industry. You could make a lot more money off of drugs than you could shrimp.
That makes sense.
It got to be hard to find good shrimpers. Jazz, let's go. So I'd rather not pull the tarp off the sawmill, but that's it underneath there. And we have egg-laying chickens back here.
Oh, okay.
They're really nice, but we don't want to let them out. Okay, everybody away from the gate. Go on.
I come in?
Yeah. So this is the part of our lumber collection here. And probably kind of dark for your camera out here, but we the longer stuff we keep out here, and then this trailer and the next two trailers have shorter stock. Pretty much everything along here is all Cuban mahogany, which is probably most of what we get down here. And then this is tropical almond, and this is the same wood I was working on in the shop.
Beautiful.
These are some more of the sculpture pedestals that are in the rough, and we've got a whole container of these.
Wow.
And all of this is for sale. Now, if you look across there, you'll see that that's mangrove forest all behind us. And then beyond that's the ocean. So all the wood out here is air dried. We get a nice breeze out of the east. So things dry really well. It's very stable.
Jimmy, where are you sourcing this wood from, typically?
Lower Keys.
Okay.
All of it comes from here. The easiest way is by tow truck. They'll just pull up and drag the log onto the tow truck and bring it here from up the Keys.
Okay.
You know, around here I kind of have access to equipment, but still the tow truck works pretty good. I tell you, you know, because this show is about wood, should really take you out to our spot in the woods here. The mangroves, there are two different types of mangroves out here, the red and the black mangrove, and it's one of the few trees that thrives in salt water. All these trees growing at my feet here, all of these are mangroves. And the trees drop seed pods once a year, and you can see the little bean-like pods, and those are all trees that'll come up. And now this whole area got washed out in Hurricane Irma, and this is us restoring it, rebuilding the soil, and the mangroves like it. And we also are mindful of cleaning trash up out here pretty regularly. The plastic is a big issue around here, and getting it out of the mangroves is a lot of work. Jazzy's hunting iguanas right now. Now those are 2 logs that are actually too big for my sawmill. I'm going to have to take them about 100 miles north to a much bigger sawmill. Those planks out of these 2 logs, this one's tropical almond like I showed you inside, and that one's Cuban mahogany. The planks in these logs will probably be 3 feet and better, the widest ones. Our mill only cuts 27 inches. Now, this container, sculpture pedestals I was telling you about. We keep all of them in here. These components here are components for the sawmill. My daughter's in the process of restoring it for me. But there's about 6 different species in there. And like I was saying earlier, none of those are available really on the market because there's just not enough of it to warrant selling them in a lumber yard.
Right.
However, you know, one tree, that big plank of tropical almond that I showed you there, that's the primo plank out of the log, but that one plank retails for $1,000. So the log sold in pieces might be worth $8,000. So, slightly different species, some similar as the one you saw in the lumber yard, but these are 8 feet or shorter out here. And all this is air dried and ready to use.
Who's your primary customer? Is it cabinet maker or furniture makers or?
Amateurs that have wanted to be woodworkers all their life.
Yeah, sure.
Or oftentimes people that commission me to build a piece for them. Artists who sell their own work. So, you know, really a variety of people. Since we put that sign up out there, we get a lot of, you know, customers that are traveling through Key West and they're in a truck. So this stuff they can load up in the truck and take with them. So
Yeah.
I'd say about once a week somebody calls me up because of that number, and I come out and sell them a few pieces of wood to take home.
That's great.
And what they do with it, I have no idea.
Right.
They may just sit and dream about it, or might build a coffee table. Who knows?
Lean it up against the wall in their shop
You
for
know,
10 years.
so it looks good. So I've got a friend who's an arborist, and a big log comes along, he'll pass it on to me, and he doesn't have the sawmill for milling them, and he doesn't have the space to store the wood.
Right.
So he sort of has a totally open account. You know, whenever he needs wood, he can just help himself. Hey, you know, let me show you a really interesting tree that's off topic a little bit here. Jazzy, here, over here. There's some giants downtown. This is a kapok tree. Check out the trunk on that thing, huh?
That's insane.
There's no monkeys climbing that tree. They used to, this tree, it produces a seed pod once a year, and the seed pod is big and it has a fiber in it that looks like cotton, and they used to make life preservers from it. But downtown, some of the biggest trees downtown are these kapoks. And are you going back downtown?
Yeah.
Well, the best bar in town is the Green Parrot on Whitehead Street. Okay, well, catty-cornered is the courthouse.
Okay.
And those gigantic trees with the big root systems, those are kapoks.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, one of the biggest trees in town is a kapok. Well, you know, I can sail, but I'm not really a sailor. I work on sailboats, or work on boats, period, a lot. So we've been on the tour of the lumber yard. You've seen everything in the shop. It was great visiting with you and sharing my shop. If you want to look a little farther, you can go to keywestwoodworks.com. And it has a gallery of all of our work and contact information, as well as my wife's work in her gallery. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing. Also, be sure to visit Jimmy's website at www.keywestwoodworks.com. Thanks again.